So if you're not a fan of the words, peak fiction.
なんだこら逃げんなよはっきり言えよ
俺たち今からあれに話しかけるの
Hi everyone, welcome to the Peak Fiction Time podcast. We did one on Monster, and now we're gonna do one on season 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen Bowling.
What?
What?
Like J.K. Rowling, but it's J.J.K. Rowling.
I don't think that the mangaka of JJK is trans.
I will not stand for these allegations.
Well, are there any trans characters in it? Didn't think so.
Damn, you got me.
Dang, he got us. He got us.
So
lost
this is
the allegations.
This is a show that was already on my radar, but me and this is actually one of the first shows we watched together, the three of us. And Pasta Man showed it to me, and I recently rewatched it. It is, I think, Mappa's biggest show. I don't think they've released anything quite this popular.
Yeah, I think that's true. It's also like kind of the one they've put the most, like I think, like marketing and staff
actually,
into.
The closest ones to hit this level of popularity were Attack on Titan and Chainsaw Man, but Chainsaw Man's anime adaptation was mid, and Attack on Titan, they only did season 4, so it's not really fully.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
So, okay, I guess I need to kind of go into my opinion on Mappa. I think I'm glad that they're covering really good manga, and I think their quality, for the most part, can be good. But I fucking hate that company. And it's mainly because it's run by it's a very insidious company that churns out a bunch of shit every 3 months.
Isn't that every anime Japanese studio?
Yeah, it's kind of.
I mean, not really Kyoto Animation or Ufotable, which is what the director of Mappa was trying to become like, without realizing that they release high-quality shows because they only release them every once in a while. They don't release, like, 6 or 7 shows every season. So, I don't care. I don't care for them. They're like the Konami of anime. So, but anyway, out of all the Mappa anime, I think I've seen even Attack on Titan and Vinland Saga and so on, like, quite good, but I think Jujutsu Kaisen is their best, at least in terms of as an adaptation, as quality, and yeah. I mean, what's the show about? Give me the rundown.
Well, how can I do that?
Somebody eats a finger.
Swat.
Somebody
That's
eats
true.
Mike
A kid named Finger. Okay, so basically, it's about this guy Yuji. He's a normal Japanese kid. Until he eats a cursed object, and he becomes possessed by this infamous curse named Sukuna. And so because of that, he gets dragged into the world of sorcerers. And so it's kind of a shonen. It's like a monster fighting plus people fighting shonen.
With a lot of explaining.
Yeah, that's the premise. That's who our main character is. And there's a lot of really good characters, and it's basically his journey of getting continuously traumatized over and over, and plus punches.
There's a lot more depth to it than what Pasta Man just said. Essentially, so his grandfather dies, and because his grandfather dies, he tells him to like live his life to the fullest, you know. And it's a very strange scene. Because it's like it feels almost impromptu. Like he's not even taking it seriously, and then he actually does just fucking die, or like right there. He
just like randomly dies after they were having just a casual conversation.
I think it's kind of all right for like how unexpected it is.
No, I'm not criticizing it. I'm just saying that like it did feel a little like just out of the blue. Although I think that's supposed to kind of build the point that death itself is unexpected. You never really know
that's a big. theme in this series is kind of
Anyway.
unceremonious death.
He ends up being so affected by his grandfather's death that he builds his whole life philosophy around it, where he wants to guarantee that everyone around him and that he himself can have meaningful deaths. And whatever the hell that means. So he finds out that he has a very unique body that is capable of carrying Sukuna's vessel. Sukuna is this legendary monster. He's like the fucking Nine Tails or whatever.
Yeah, his character is actually like pretty clearly based on Naruto's relationship with the Nine-Tailed Demon Fox.
Every single fucking shonen does this, but
they all have. I think Sukuna is a really good example of the trope, though, and we'll get into it. But Sukuna is just entertaining for how sadistic he is towards Yuji. Like, he will mock him at his lowest points and have a blast doing it.
When he's literally dead.
He has like 20 fingers that are spread throughout the, like Dragon Balls or whatever. Like, it's so every shonen has to have the collectible thing. Yeah. And so he has like 20 fingers all spread throughout, and in order to kill Sukuna for good, because this academy, you also got to have a fucking academy and everything. They can't kill him otherwise unless they. So they come up with the plan of having Yuji, since he seems to be the only one who can handle it, eat all 20 of the fingers so that they can kill him and get rid of Sukuna forever. And at least that's kind of the premise at the start, but we kind of stray away from that.
It sort of changes as it goes on, but there's always this sort of tension between the higher ups in Jujutsu Society who just want to get rid of Yuji, and then the people who are kind of protecting Yuji who don't want him to just get killed just because he's a vessel for Sukuna. And that's kind of what his teacher Gojo is like. And Gojo is a funny guy. He's a great character.
Gojo is literally everybody's favorite character.
Gojo is like the fucking I don't know, like it's like Askeladd or like fucking.
I would not compare him to Askeladd.
No, shut the fuck up and let me talk. I mean, in the sense that he stole the show, and it's practically like he's the main character.
Yeah, it does feel like that at points.
Like Askeladd, or like what's another example of a character that like kind of stole the show and made it theirs.
I feel like Askeladd's the best example,
I can't really think of any others.
But basically, Gojo is the strongest sorcerer, and his powers are extremely broken. And so he's the toughest guy, but he's also kind of a goofball, and that's what makes him a fun character.
He's like smug and like dismissive, and it kind of disarms you a little bit because you don't expect to take him that seriously, but he actually turns out to be a fucking badass, and it's like insane.
Yeah,
and half.
His first encounter with Sukuna, like he's just not taking it seriously at all, and yet he is just hammering him.
He's clowning him.
And it's not a new trope, but it is always a charming one, because we see this type of character all the time, of like the smug, like I'm goofy, but I actually, I'm much smarter than I let on type thing. But he's my favorite character. He's probably y'all's favorite character. He's everyone's favorite fucking character.
Yeah. Well, I think I have another like really close second, but we'll get to him later. But it's Nanami for me. Okay,
bitch. So we need to structure this since this is your show.
True.
So what do we want to touch on first? We briefly mentioned.
I feel like
Yuji
we could start by talking about like the action in the series. It's really good. It's Mappa bringing their best. This is clearly kind of their flagship for them.
Mappa is usually pretty fucking good at action
because they abuse their animators. So
they abuse the shit out of their animators to make these action scenes. And it's across like all, even the like lesser, like lower quality ones, like Hell's Paradise. it's still like hype as shit to watch the fights go on in that show, and it's just because. I mean, part of it's because they make good music for that, but it's also because like just the animation it can get really like insane.
So at its core, JJK is like this. It's kind of this merger of like sorcery based shonen. So like Bleach, every character has their own kind of signature ability that they use in combat. But then it's also like a lot of like hand to hand and like weapon on weapon, and that opens up the opportunity for a lot of really cool choreography, and I think they do that really well.
So I pretty much consider this show like a better version of Blue Exorcist, because the mechanics are mostly built around like exorcising like spirits or something like along those lines, and all of the curses in this show are all like eldritch horrors that are creepy as hell. They look like fucking Berserk Eclipse monsters.
Yeah, they're monsters that are created from human negative emotions. So there's kind of a logic to it. They crop up anywhere where like negative emotions tend to be concentrated, like hospitals. The strongest curses tend to be based on things that people are afraid of, like nature, like volcanoes, and the ocean.
Bit of Chainsaw Man in there too.
That is a little bit.
Yeah, but it's better than both of those shows, so don't at me. But anyway,
so true.
Salt's typing.
Oh,
it's actually really funny how many fights in this series are 2v1s, where one guy's just getting wailed on by two people.
That does happen a lot. So yeah, like the action is pretty much my favorite part of it. There's so many points that are just hype as shit. And there's a lot of personality too. Like the characters, you mentioned that it's kind of like Bleach, where every character kind of has their own little style, their own little like ability.
Yeah,
and I think that's the strongest part of the characterization in the show. In that every single character, man or woman, they have something about them that sets them apart from everyone else. There's a lot of unique personality. There's a lot of charm. I really can't think of other shonens that do it the way JJK does it, because
I forgot. Wasn't their curse also based off their personality? I can't remember.
It's sort of a combination of things, but more often than not, your curse ability tends to be inherited, and so bloodlines are kind of a really big thing in JJK, and that actually kind of ties into some of the sort of themes of the series. Like there's always this conflict that tends to arise with like traditional society. Like you can look at like the Zenin clan and like the expectations they have. Like if you cannot use sorcery, you're kind of trash according to them. And so like Maki's a victim of that. Her sister is as well. And that's it. All kind of ties into how like cursed techniques are inherited. Bruh.
Yeah, and I mean, there's like the show is just bleeding with personality. Like the humor is great, as we established with like Gojo. He's a goofball, but it's not just Gojo. There's like funny moments all over the series. Yuji and what's her name? The bitch that looks like
Yuji
Petra.
and Nobara have a great dynamic with each other.
They have like a sibling dynamic almost, like they're brothers.
They really do. That is a good choice of words.
Like they'll be they'll be best friends 1 minute, and then they'll kind of hate each. Well, not Yuji.
They'll wail at
Yuji specifically.
Yes, I love them.
More Nabara. I can't believe I forgot. Nabara, right?
Yes.
Nobara.
Okay. Nobara, and then Nobara just hates him later.
Yeah, she's always fucking picking on him.
It's funny, they beef with each other, but they're also like perfectly in sync.
Yuji, let's go get sushi now.
So,
But then we're,
yeah,
we're
I
also
mean,
forgetting about the third member of the trio, Fushiguro.
Oh my. I hate that you reminded me of him because I was also I watched it a while back with my best friend and he said, "Hey, it's you," because he almost looks like me in real life and I hate it.
Yeah,
look
if
like
you want another metaphor, he's not. I was gonna say he's like Sasuke, but he's really not. He doesn't really have that villain component to his character, but
he's
he is
not
a
edgy.
little
If
more
anything,
brooding.
He's very like,
Edgy.
He's sort of the more brooding
yeah, that's what I'm
foil
saying. He's
to.
not edgy.
kind of
He's just very.
he's just more the one that takes it seriously.
Yeah, he's kind of the serious character in the trio.
He has his
That's why they
moments
have
where
good
he's
dynamic.
unhinged, but
Yeah, that's one of the fun parts
Especially
about
with,
his
like,
character is
Sukuna.
like at the end of season 2 where you really start
hey,
understanding what
we're not
makes him
talking about
tick.
season 2. We're not
But
talking about
or
season
not season 2, I meant like the end of season 1. You kind of get an
Yeah.
understanding of what makes him what his kind of complexes are and how he kind of grows and evolves.
Yeah, season 1 is kind of split into I think it's what is it like 3 arcs? There were like 3
He kind of
arcs.
is like you have the first arc where they're just kind of introducing all of the characters, and then Yuji gets separated from the other two for reasons we shall not elaborate on, and then he's
Just yet.
working with a different mentor, Nanami, on a different case, and then they get reunited in the third act for sort of a semi-tournament arc.
And then there's that last little stretch at the end, which feels to me like an epilogue.
It's a little like a short story, like a mini arc.
Yeah. So adapted a bit strange, but I think overall it's a very solid first season. So I guess we could take it arc by arc and just talk about characters as we go.
Yeah, let's go for it.
We already kind of established Yuji's philosophy on life and the way the story starts. I mean, you've got the academy that he gets invited to, which has Gojo, and it's got a bunch of other. It's split into all these different like sections of students, but it doesn't overwhelm you just at the start. Like it doesn't pull like a My Hero Academia. It's like here's like a trillion more characters that you have to worry about.
You lol.
No, it kind of eases you into it a little bit. But yeah, like you got the academy, and then you've got this group of evil villains. What very cutting edge for a shonen, I know. An organization of bad guys.
League
That-
of Villains, if you will.
What were they called?
League of
again?
Villains, or the fucking Akatsuki, or the Espada, or the fucking homunculi, or the fucking Frieza Force. Yeah, it's always like an
Yeah.
organization.
Ginyu
of bad
Force,
guys.
Ginyu Force.
But no, I don't remember what they were called, but they have like the best fucking design in the whole like
The
Show.
cursed. I think they're the natural disaster curses.
Yeah, one of them is
that what
like one of them is like a volcano, and like once he goes into a restaurant, everybody gets set
just fucking spontaneously
Yeah, so-
combust. They all just
see the
That's a
way
great
they're trying to get
scene.
out, and then she combusts as well, and it's
So they're-
horrifying.
So we'll explain their agenda. So their agenda is, so the thing about curses is that like most of the time they're generic monsters, but the strongest curses are the ones that are also the most intelligent. And so the special grade curses, they're actually like intelligent, they can communicate, they can plan, and so they're kind of the main antagonists. And their goal is to get rid of all people and make a
Yeah.
world just for curses.
so kind of elfin lead, but like not bad. But kind of the same
I
thing
can't
that like
believe
the
you
villains.
make that comparison.
But they're also not like the
they were
only
doing an
villain.
elfin lead. Oh yeah, there's
Like,
other villains.
there's a lot of different like groups with different agendas in JJK, and those.
corrupt people. There's corrupt people even within the academy. There's like that old man who's kind of an asshole, and he's
Yeah,
you
like I
know,
said, that's one of the centerpieces of conflict, is that people just want to off Yuji and save the trouble of dealing with him.
Yeah,
Jesus,
so-
I can't remember who was the guy that like, I don't know, like he tried putting him in that spirit state, and yet like Sukuna appeared and then like cut off half his arm.
Oh, we can talk about Mahito when we get to the next arc.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to talk more.
For the first arc, the main me and Pasta have more recent like memory of it, and Soul is kind of going off what we watched back then. It's been a while, but for the first arc, the main focus as far as like villains is this organization. It kind of introduces them, and I think the biggest focus. I mean, the first monster we see fought is the funny looking one-eyed volcano guy, where he gets his ass beat by Gojo, and it's great because it's a good chance. It's a good chance to kind of explain Gojo's power, explain why he's like a legendary despite how goofy he is, and just kind of show off what he's capable of, while also showing that these bad guys, they do take him seriously.
And that's part of their agenda. Is they're looking for a way to get rid of Gojo because they can't take over the world. They can't take over the world because he's so broken. They have to get rid of him, or they can't get their agenda done.
And it's already clear early on that like something bad's going to happen eventually, because they have kind of a plan for Gojo, but he's just like, we'll wait to get there, and you don't really know fully how they're going to go about doing this. And there's a nice mystery element to it.
But you will learn.
You will learn in due time. So Gojo's power, like you said, he's like overpowered. Like you can't even touch him because the little bit of like the closer you get to him, the more resistance there is.
Yeah, his technique is infinity. The closer you get, the longer the distance becomes. And so you can never actually touch him. So the only things that can touch him are things that he chooses to let touch him. And that's not even the most of like what he can do.
But yeah, he's pretty much you can't touch the power. But back to the villains.
The way the plot really like kicks in is when we first meet Mahito. So Mahito is kind of Yuji's primary antagonist, and that I think we can get into like that arc between Yuji and Junpei. So Yuji makes a friend named Junpei.
We put a gif of him.
And this guy is a victim. Oh, you're just gonna lead with that, huh? All right, we got a lot of explaining to do here.
I want to talk about Junpei. So Junpei is a twink, and he's also low key like a film buff incel, like male manipulation.
He's just like you.
He's bullied a lot at school, and he really likes watching movies. So he is just like me. And he's a very troubled kid that is... What's the name of that fucking Frankenstein guy? You said his name? Mahito?
Mahito. So Mahito kind of, throughout a couple episodes, he manipulates Junpei. Really, like...
Say that, I'm sorry.
It's really sad. Their dynamic is really kind of interesting and sad, because Junpei... Like, the only thing Junpei wants is for people to be apathetic to him because he's constantly getting tormented by bullies. And what kind of Mahito offers him is this sort of nihilistic belief that there is, like, the soul is just an object, so there's nothing particularly sacred about people.
I hate this gif.
And so it kind of provides Junpei the rationale to take revenge on people and just be apathetic to them.
If I remember this once, Junpei was watching a movie and it explained Mahito's power.
That is true, and I got bullied on Twitter for pointing this out, but Junpei's watching a movie, and if you pay attention, if you pay attention to the words in the movie, they're actually explaining Mahito's powers before Mahito himself.
That's
explains it.
crazy, Pasta Man. What
And it's
you
good.
missed in JJK?
Dude, I'm gonna send assassins to your location.
Okay, so yeah, how do y'all feel about Mahito as a character?
I feel like they do a great. I feel like people don't think of Mahito as a particularly great villain, but I think this show does a good job at making you hate him for the way that he treats Junpei,
Oh, no,
and that
I just wish
and
he
it gives a
would.
great reason for Yuji to hate him.
Yeah, well, I mean, he is like the easiest to hate because like I like the volcano guy because he's funny, and I like the one black haired guy because he's interesting. But Mahito is just fucking weird. Like, and his power is fucking weird too because he completely reshapes his body to be whatever.
Yeah, so Mahito's deal is the soul shapes the body, and he's the only being that's like aware of the shape of the soul. And so he can manipulate it and thereby manipulate people's bodies and turn them into to monsters.
No.
And that ties into his sort of nihilistic philosophy because he knows what a soul is. He treats it as just any other object.
Whatever you're doing, I can hear like a thudding sound coming from your mic, Pasta
Me?
Man.
Oh, sorry.
Pasta
Oh, my
Man.
bad.
It's ruining the video.
That.
You're ruining your own fucking video. Okay.
Sorry, bestie.
So yeah, Mahito, I mean, as a villain, he is interesting, but he is like just so easy because he's so sleazy and so fucking conniving. And
He's just a little
awful.
freak.
I don't know. I was kind of unsettled by Mahito a lot, and the voice actor didn't really help with that.
Yeah, but that's like the idea of his character. He is kind of.
That. I was still horribly disturbed by him.
Yeah, he's got kind of like
sort
a Frankenstein-ish like design, and he's over here stroking his dick. He's a freak.
What?
You know, he's over here beating his meat. He's got his cock in his hand right now.
I don't know if that was this one character, but like I feel like. Nah, never mind. My point doesn't work. Never mind.
One of my favorite fucking parts of that whole exchange. I mean, aside from there's this other guy that gets introduced that he's like a working man. You know, he represents Japan's work culture.
Yeah,
I love him.
It's so messed up how accurate. But yeah, spoiler, not spoiler, Mahito kills Junpei, and that's why we hate him. That's why Yuji hates him.
Turn him into a frog.
Anyway,
I want to talk about Nanami, because Nanami is a great character.
Yeah,
So-
I wanted to talk about Nanami. I wanted to talk about my favorite part of that whole arc, and then we'll move on.
Okay.
But-
So Nanami is basically he takes over as Yuji's kind of mentor for a while, and he's kind of funny in the sense that he's like the typical like Japanese workman stereotype. He hates his job. He doesn't like doing overtime.
And yeah, that's what I mean by like
He acts like he hates his job.
That's what I mean by like
my job,
personality.
too.
Okay, that's what I mean by like personality. Is that like, initially you're given kind of an interesting quirk about each character that makes them somewhat relatable in a certain way. Like Gojo's a goofball, yeah. And in his case, there was also some relatability in Junpei as well with like the whole movie like when he and Yuji start being besties and talk about movies. That's the one thing about this show I like is that it's very, very relatable. But in his case, it's like he's like, I don't want to work overtime. He's in the middle of this fight, and then he's like, well, it's time for me to clock out, but I'm not done, so I guess I'm in fucking overtime, and it's your fault. So now I'm pissed. And he's like, I'm gonna go all out. I'm gonna be a badass. And he's like gonna lay into him, and that it seems like just a one-off joke. That's like another like, oh, this character's quirky. He's got like a, but then they elaborate on it when he actually was working like an actual business job, and he goes to this Subway parody every single day. He gets something to eat at Subway, and at one point he's like, don't you think it's kind of fucked up that like I'm making way more money than you, even though what I do is like shitty and you're like actually feeding people? And then she's like, are you insulting me? And he's like, no.
Yeah, and that sort of makes him realize, because the reason that he chooses not to be a jujitsu sorcerer at first, and we kind of learn in the next season what kind of prompted that decision, and he just wants a simple life where he can make money, and then he kind of comes to realize that slaving over money doesn't make him happy, and he chooses to go back into being a sorcerer, and that kind of is like the foundation for his character, is that he kind of acts like he's an impersonal, just focused on the job guy, but he actually does care about people. He does want Yuji. He does want to protect Yuji, and that's what makes him a really likable character.
God,
I will say one thing. The depiction of the Subway worker was fairly inaccurate, because being someone who's worked at Subway, we are not that happy. We are not that chipper and smiley and in a good mood.
I wouldn't be happy if I worked at Subway.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I really like Nanami's relationship with Yuji. So Nanami's deal is he's really protective of Yuji, and Yuji kind of like takes offense to this at first, because Nanami's like, I'm an adult, you're a child, I deal with the difficult
You're a little baby
stuff.
man.
Shut up,
You're a little
boomer.
pissed. Yeah.
But and then when you kind of like learn more about Nanami, and like when Yuji wants to help Nanami in this fight, Nanami's like, listen, being a child is not a sin. It's not your fault that you have to deal with all of this messed up stuff. And that's why I protect you. And it's a really sentimental moment, and I like how Nanami like doesn't patronize Yuji, but he does look out for him, and that's another great part of his character.
And that leads me into, regarding this specific arc, two of my favorite fucking parts. One of them, and both of them were fucking memes. One of them is like this part where basically Yuji, he sees that the fucking Frankenstein fuck. This is before Nanami comes in, but he sees that it's pretty much too late, so he begs Sukuna to come out and be like, "Hey, stop this man!" He's like, "No, I don't think I will." And then the two of them laugh at him together, and it's so fucking
such
funny.
a great. I think it's one of the entertaining things about Sukuna is like typically when this character archetype, the inside demon is kind of the main character's get out of jail free card, like, oh, I'm losing a fight, but watch me turn into this super cool badass. But Sukuna is always going out of his way to screw Yuji over in any way that he can.
Yeah, he's a fucking asshole. We're gonna talk more about him in a minute.
He's just the vessel. That's it. He doesn't give a shit about him.
Yeah.
Let's talk about him, and then we'll bring it full circle with the whole my actual favorite part of this arc. The whole like during this arc earlier before this conflict, like there's a whole point where he fucks over Yuji by like basically ripping his own heart out, and and killing him, just to fuck with the other guy. What was it?
Megumi.
Megumin from Konosuba.
No,
So
wait,
true.
that's not real, is it?
No.
Oh, okay. Thank God.
Anyway, so he is not, like, he's pretty much just a troll. That's essentially, he's like, a lot of it's just he's fucking bored and he wants to fuck with everybody just for shiggles, for shits and
Because
giggles.
he's just such a powerful entity that he does whatever he wants. And so that makes him a bit of a wild card, because if he wants you dead for any reason, you die. You will be
If you
murdered,
bother
killed,
him, he'll
dead.
literally rip your arm off.
And
He literally in one of the fights, Mahito gets cut up by him simply for touching Sukuna's soul on accident.
Yeah, he extends this to everyone. Like, he will not, like, it doesn't matter if you're a curse or a human or what. He extends this to everyone. Like, that one very strong one that, like, Yuji's struggling against. He's, like, losing his fingers. He's getting his ass beat, and he just can't. And then, like, Sukuna takes over. He turns the thing into fucking chump change. Just rips it to shreds. Initially, he was going to work with it, but because it's still trying to fight him, he's like, all right, jackass. Now, you're an idiot, all right? And he fucking splits him into, like,
That's another
five.
fun part about, like, that's what I was getting at. Like, the literal second Sukuna takes over, his first thought is, all right, how am I gonna fuck with the Yuji? How am I gonna be the biggest problem possible?
In this fucking meme, the fucking smile. And so, yeah. But he chooses not to come out for this, so Yuji's basically fucked, and he already lost his friend. So that's when Nanami comes in, kind of bringing it back to Nanami, God, it's like one of the most hype moments ever, because it's the two of them versus this ugly motherfucker.
Yeah.
and
It's
they
so good.
they lay the smackdown on him.
It is
Like,
so
right here.
satisfying
They-
It's
because,
such an
like, these have the
iconic
advantage for
meme.
the whole time, and then when this happens, like, when they just have the upper hand on him, it's so satisfying.
They are beating the shit out of this man, and it feels like a mid-season finale of sorts. So that pretty much does it for the first arc. Or do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think that's all the important stuff.
One thing I kind of want to complain about, but
Go
this
ahead.
is more like, this is more a thing that the show goes on with, but, like, characters are, like, still explaining stuff constantly, all the time. Like, I don't.
Yeah, they all have really complicated powers.
This is in general like an anime issue. Because it's a manga, when you read it, it's more natural. But because it's a 1-to-1 adaptation, because so many anime do that, it will get stiff in moments where it is just like a character monologuing, and a line of dialogue. Like, in a manga, it's like no big deal, because it's like, yeah, they could say that. I can totally see that. But in an anime, it doesn't make sense, because then person will swing, and then they'll dodge, and they'll say something like 2 sentences of dialogue.
It's actually kind of interesting that JJK specifically has, like, a built-in justification for this, which is that if you explain your ability, it becomes stronger. So there's actually kind of like a give and take to it. You can reveal your ability and lose kind of the information advantage, but in exchange it gets more powerful.
Which is a cop-out, but anyway.
I think it's swag.
Yeah. Fucking... That does it for the first arc, so let's talk about the second arc. The GOAT from the second arc, and then, anything else that you guys want to add before we can go to the third arc?
I think we're good.
So the second arc is, it's like a tournament arc, kind of. It's, students from all across the academy participate in a
from
game.
2 different academies.
Yeah, and it was around this point where I did realize one thing that I don't care for in this series that isn't like an offensive or like a big deal, but some of the girl drama is a little bit lame, just a little bit. Like, but then again, I rewatched it in dub, and you know how dubs are sometimes.
Yeah.
But some of the drama between girls is a bit kind of like it's a shonen. This is not for women. But,
Yeah, people give a lot of people say that JJK is the best female cast, and like it is really good, but like they're clearly not the focus.
Yeah, it's
So much.
really not the focus.
This is more an issue with
focused on Gojo.
This is more an issue with like shonen in general. Honestly, I think if there is a shonen that could be most appealing to women, it's probably My Hero Academia, and even that one has its problems. So
that being said, JJK does have a really good female character, and that is Maki Zenin.
And she gets some focus in the second arc.
Yeah, and she gets even more focus later in the series, and it's really swag. But her deal is, so she's kind of a reject because she cannot use cursed energy. Period. She has no aptitude. She has no aptitude to Jujutsu sorcery. She can't even see curses without special glasses. And so
she's still beating their asses.
And because
she's
she's
a very trained weapon specialist.
And that's how she compensates. She uses tools that are imbued with cursed energy.
She mostly has a spear, doesn't she?
And so the sad thing about her character is that her family doesn't want her to be a sorcerer because they've decided you can't use cursed energy. You're worthless. You should just be a maid or something.
That's pretty
And so
sexist.
her whole thing is defying them and showing that she can do that. And they actively want to sabotage her every step of the way, but she doesn't let it get to her because she's a girl boss.
She doesn't let it get to
her
him.
sister again? Was she on that or?
Mai is her sister.
I fucking hate her. I hate her so much. Every scene she was in, and even after they like developed her and like showed why she's like this, I still fucking hated her because every single scene she was in, she was just being obnoxious.
Well, she has a gun, so argument invalid.
I got a gun.
She was a real hater.
I don't, the issue is like we're probably not gonna have time to talk about all the characters that get introduced for this whole stretch.
We gotta talk about that one character though. You know the one I'm talking
about. We will. I'm getting to that. But anyway, we won't have time to talk about all of them. But I do want to kind of brush through some of them to kind of, give them some focus. Like the blonde witch girl who has an obsession with cuteness.
She does exist. That is true.
She doesn't add anything to this, but she's there.
She's like a supporting character at best.
There's a fucking robot guy who reminds me literally. He feels like a carbon copy of Robot from Invincible, because he's literally like puppeteered by a deformed guy in some other completely different area. He's like in a bathtub. And he doesn't get much focus, but a little bit, enough
to have some cool fights.
It's touching. Like, it's a very touching. He has a fight with the panda character. It's talking fucking panda that exists, who can switch between like panda, gorilla, and I don't know the other one. And he switches between 3 different forms.
And like what was it about his brother and sister again? Like, that they were a part of him or something?
We don't need to go into that, but yeah,
he has
like, siblings.
He's like a talking corpse or something like that, and so that's why the robot guy hates him. Is that he's like you're a puppet, and it's like, motherfucker, you're puppeting a robot. So it's touching. It's a small little moment. It was nice. I liked that whole part.
There's also the blue-haired girl. And she's
stupid. She's
a sorcerer entirely because she's broke.
Her only characteristic is that she has a sword. That's it.
There's this other character that like he can he speaks in food. Like he says foods, and
Well,
that's how
so
he
his
talks.
ability is
And
cursed
then-
speech, but the thing is, he can't like turn it off. So if he wants to talk to people without accidentally hurting them, he talks in rice ball ingredients.
He says bonito flakes, and yeah, but he like tells her to go to sleep, and then she passes out. He's an entertaining character, but again, he's more of a supporting character in this season. I'm sure he'll get more focus later on. Other than that, I guess there's like an archer guy that shows up, and he's kind of there. They don't really get much focus. They're only here for like to spice up the action a little bit, have some more moving parts to this arc, but they don't get any depth or any like we don't elaborate on their story very much. It's just to add to the personality of the show. But there is one character for this arc who steals the show once again,
Toto.
and his name is Toto.
Can I talk about it,
And-
please?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Salt, you haven't talked much, so we'll give you the limelight.
Okay. I'm sorry about that. So Toto is this. He is probably one of the most buff. He's one of the most stupidly OP characters in this entire show. His curse is that he can swap out with certain characters, like in different positions. But what's
He
also
can switch
funny
places.
is what's also funny is that he is into idols.
Yeah,
He's this
like
huge
Mira.
buff dude, and he's just obsessed with
He's into-
He
idols.
loves magic girls. He loves idols.
He's into cutesy moe shit. And one of the first things about him, I think he fights against Megumi. Am I saying that right? Megumi?
Megami, yeah.
He fights against him, and one of the first things that he seems to ask any male that he has to fight against is, what type of woman what kind of women are you into? And so Megami does give that lame ass answer, just like, oh, it's just personality. And he's like, wow, you're a bitch. And he just fucking mops the floor.
Starts
Then when he-
wailing
then
on
when
him.
he talks to Yuji, he's like, "All right, bro, tits or ass," and like I can't remember which one he said. I think he said ass. He's like, "You are my best friend now."
Well, he asked the same question. He said, like, what's your type of woman? He's like, I love a tall woman with a thick ass, like Jennifer Lawrence.
We
He
are
was real
best
for
friends.
That is
Yeah,
that is
he starts
entirely the
crying.
foundation of their relationship.
This is Jennifer Lawrence watching Jujutsu Kaisen when they bring up her ass. Just, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Toto's
What do you mean,
extremely. Toto is funny guy.
That gif actually is Jennifer Lawrence, by the way.
Oh, that's great.
But it's also even better because him and
Where are you finding these? Where are you finding these?
I just looked under Discord gifts and put in Toto JJK.
Toto's a real funny guy. But the funniest thing is he and Yuji make an insanely good team because they're both like all like hand to
They
hand
fight.
dudes.
Oh my god, the
And
fucking
then
like
they
tree.
team up on a cursed the tree.
I got a gush for the tree guy or girl because it was voiced by a girl in the
It was
dub. but-
Hanami.
Yeah, like fucking sickest design I've seen on any villain. Like no cap. Like the design
It is
is
really
awesome. They cooked with that fucking character design. And that whole fight. Oh my god! It's like basically he's playing Smash with
It is-
like
It is
mind
pure
games.
dopamine rush.
He's like he uses his ability to basically confuse them. Like there's like a point where he's just clapping every second, and he's got like 3 people to work with, so he's like swapping back and forth and just overwhelming them. And then eventually he claps, and they're expecting another one, but it doesn't happen. So when they adjust, they still get hit because they were expecting a change.
That's
and it
my
didn't
funny.
change.
Let me kind of elaborate. So the way his ability works is if he claps his hand, he can swap positions any 2 things that have cursed energy. So usually that's people. And so at one point, Hanami is expecting him to use the ability because she sees him clap, and then he's like, "Just because I clap,
I didn't
doesn't
say
mean
it
I'm
was
using
every
my
time."
ability."
Yeah.
And God,
And
it's so
Hanami gets
fucking hype.
smacked.
Yeah, they beat Hanami's ass. Like, it literally, like...
Didn't they rip
Oh.
off?
And
like,
that's another
his
moment
other
where
arm?
Mappa
I mean,
just
her
goes
other arm?
crazy with the animation.
Is it a her or a he? I don't...
Hanami is technically her.
Oh, yeah. Didn't they
My
rip
pro-
off her
my-
arm just because of it? No, wait, no. That
My
was
pronouns
Gojo.
are... My pronouns are they, them. Thank you so much for asking. So yeah, that fight was fucking... That's like my favorite part of the whole season, was that entire fight right
Yeah.
there.
I think
it's crazy.
the best part of season 2 or not
Season
season 2,
two,
the
right, that's
second
what I
arc. The second arc in the series, it's not quite like any particular like character, but just all of the action and all of the ridiculous fights.
I completely forgot that the curse's name is Boogie Woogie.
Oh, the ability, yeah. It's called fucking Boogie Woogie.
So funny. But anyway, I think the thing I want to close this out with is like the last arc in the season and sort of
So
about
the last
Megami.
we're going to talk about Megami, and we're probably going to talk a little bit about Nobara. Nobara?
Yeah. So Megami has like kind of throughout the series we realize Megami has this kind of a complex, which it's not that he's lazy, but he doesn't like take risks. He's not as ambitious as Yuji or Gojo. And we kind of learned that he has this kind of ace in the hole. It's a secret weapon, but using it also like will kill him. And so he kind of has this mental clutch where he's like, the moment the going gets tough, he's like, I've got to use this. I've got to sacrifice myself.
He's literally just, I have got to kill myself.
It's kind of funny because when you learn about this ability he has and you rewatch it, you notice that he's about to use it at like every opportunity. Like
He's literally like always
the second things go south, he's like, "Yep, time to kick mess.
time to commit."
I'm done with this shit. I'm fucking myself.
But like, sort of by the end of the arc, it's fun to watch him kind of like he's about to use it, and then he's like, "You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna try a domain expansion."
Domain expansion. Wait, I got a good joke. It's the domain expansion, but it's a low tier guy.
Bruh.
So for the last arc, they investigate under this bridge that's been claiming a bunch of like high school students or something, and it's mainly just Megami, Nobara, and Yuji. But Yuji doesn't get much focus this arc.
Yeah, it's mostly about Megami.
Megami and a little bit of Nobara in there. And she's fucking unhinged. Like,
yeah, she was like, what the fuck is
So,
wrong with you?
they fight these curses, and then eventually her and Yuji team up, and they end up defeating it. But what they don't realize until it's too late, is that these are not curses, these were people. And they just committed murder. And Yuji's like kind of freaking out about it. Like, he's like, what the fuck did I just do? But Nobara is like, she doesn't really react much. She kind of just
totally
keeps
unbothered.
Going. She keeps going and kills
She's
the other one.
Unhinged.
And that is one issue I had, was like the conversation afterwards where Yuji's like, he's like sad about it, and she's like, well, you know, like, we had no choice, it was them or us. It's like, and it could have been a meaningful moment, but it did feel like they were just kind of breezing through it just to end the season.
Yeah, we just killed some people. Yeah, it's fine.
I just killed 2 people. That's no big deal.
Can I be honest about that arc? I don't think it was like a good way to end. I don't think it was a good way to end that.
It was a little less climactic.
Yeah.
It did not feel like a finale, yeah.
But
it felt like an epilogue is more than anything.
But I do like the way it develops
mid-season
Megami.
episode.
And like what I said there, it doesn't even capture like all of the elements to Megumi's character, but he's really good, and he only gets like better like as the series goes on.
Yeah, I mean, it was a weird note to end it on. I felt like the fight with the tree branch guy, girl, whatever, was a much like that is like the finale, and this could have been like the beginning of the next season. But I understand they had a certain quota of episodes to fill, so they had to kind of.
It also sort of, if you know like how the rest of the season goes, there wasn't really a great way to organize it. But that's neither here nor there.
It's a good first season, and it did leave me wanting more, even if those last couple episodes tonally didn't really feel like, oh, this is the climax. Like, it felt like we already had it, and it felt like I bust a nut and she kept sucking.
It does feel like sort of like kind of an epilogue, sort of. You can think of it that way.
I said like twice, you're silly. Anyway.
You're silly.
I don't know, it more felt like that they still had some room to animate with, so they just animated this like bit of like a few random chapters. That's it.
Yeah.
In any case, that's Jujutsu Kaisen season 1. Unless you have any closing thoughts.
Well, I guess I can mention just like what comes after. So after the first season, typically you watch the movie, which is actually sort of a prequel that focuses on a main character that
we're gonna talk about the
Yuji.
movie next video. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm just kind of throwing this out there.
I should probably.
They did a Made in Abyss thing where it's like watch season 1, watch this fucking movie, and then watch season 2. But it's not the exact same.
It's really funny because the movie takes place before season 1, and then the start of season 2 is a flashback that's before the movie. And it makes sense still, but it's kind of funny how like the series goes backwards for the first.
Going backwards. Season 3 is like in medieval ages. But
that's not like entirely far off either.
All that's really left now is to rate it, and then announce that we're doing this video. We're doing one on JJK 0, and then we're gonna do season 2. But that's gonna wait a little bit until we finish watching it. So, for me, it's a 9.
8.5. I just hope in season 2 they don't explain as much.
They're definitely going to. That's
there will be explaining, but there will also be fights and swords and violence and punches.
Mm-hmm.
And
a guy getting choked out by.
You guys are gonna soy face when Toji comes up, but you will see. You will see.
Shut up. What do you rate it, Pasta Man? 10?
I give it a 9.5. I don't give like anything a 10 because I feel like
you gave Monster a 10.
Okay, well that's true. I did give Monster a 10. But Monster's kind of like a masterpiece. This isn't quite that, but it's really good, really fun.
Perfect.
You were talking about it like it was a 10 forever. For fucking ever. You were. Okay.
Well, I like it a lot, okay?
I don't really give anything a 10 because there's actually
you can't just praise a movie, not mention a single flaw, not even a nitpick, and he's like 7 out of 10.
Okay, but hear this. What if I had a gun?
Okay, can you?
And I shot you.
Explanation on why.
I don't really give anything a 10 out of 10 because there's no such thing as perfection.
Okay. So, what is your label? What is your rating?
I already said.
Give it a fucking 8.5.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, so I guess.
Okay, well, thank you for coming. Thank you for listening.
Give your freaking reason why it's not a 10.
Well, I did. Well, it's not.
We did throughout the review. Can we please end this video?
Okay.
Can we please
not quite as
end
mature
this
as
fucking
Monster.
video? I hate both of you.